beauty is often seen as a transcendent mystery.
We don't know how all of reality fits together, yet we know that we're able to experience parts of it. So beauty is a doorway. Our experience of beauty is a doorway into a deeper experience of the mystery of all of life.
At the center of everything are these imponderable, but in some cases, fascinating mysteries.
Mystery is precisely what we can't control. And so the experience of beauty, in many ways, we can't control it. We certainly cannot program it. I cannot get up in the morning and say, well, I hope I can get up in the morning and say, I will have an experience of beauty today. I cannot say where it will happen.
Beauty is essentially mysterious. As part of this experience of beauty, as you become enwrapped with this thing that gives you pleasure, that gives you knowledge, you realize that you're only getting the barest glimpse of it. You're getting the little peak of the iceberg. You sense the great gravity and mass of things under the surface, but you cannot fully comprehend it, although you can intuit it.
A sense of the world as something that we can penetrate into to some extent, that isn't utterly opaque, it isn't a brick wall. We can penetrate to some extent, but we can't go all the way. It's like the world is this bright, opaque thing. It's not clear. We don't have full possession of the absolute truth, the total truth, the mystery, the thing behind the mystery, but we are allowed to go partway into that shining opacity. We're allowed to enter into this space. And some people have called this a kind of liminal space, a space where we are opened and we are stopped in our tracks, where the familiar becomes defamiliarized, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And I think that in that place, you could call it, to use the metaphor of a medieval mystical writer, the cloud of unknowing. We could say that the unknowing part is our sense of humility before something greater than ourselves.
Of, the multiplicity of layering of things, and that with an epiphany or an insight that takes the breath away. That's a spontaneous thing. It's a transcendent thing. It's outside of the ego structure, and it's something that places one into a contextual framework that's larger than oneself.
We're taken out of ourselves, and then we're returned to ourselves in terms of, now what do I choose to do? And my freely choosing to enter into the experience of beauty is a type of letting go of myself, letting go of me being the center of the world, and me entering into a deeper reality of mystery that I can't explain. So even though I ask myself the question, what's happening right now? I know I'll never be able to answer what's happening right now. All I can say is, what's going on inside of me? How am I responding to what's going on around me?
The experience of beauty can be so profound that we are humbled by it.
Beauty almost always gives us a sense of our own insignificance.
So often I can get caught up in thinking I am the center of the world and everything I care about is the most important thing anybody else should care about. Experience of beauty that I've had in my life, whether it's the beauty of nature, whether it's the beauty of music, whether it's looking at a piece of art that deeply transforms me, what happens to me at those moments is I am brought down to my right size. And I say to myself, I'm not the most important person in the world. I'm not the most important thing that's going on. And at the same time, I'm having this experience. So it's a remarkable type of bringing together what I don't often bring together. I am the most important person. I'm not the most important person. These things come together in an experience of beauty.
When I stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon and I look at this superhuman shape that is beyond my ability to even take in, and my own insignificance spatially and temporally to this great manifestation of natural beauty, it doesn't aggrandize me, it diminishes me, and yet I recognize it as beautiful. And at the base of this is this mystery of how could this have come into being? How could I have come to be? Why am I here? And the notion that I'm going to know very little of that answer ever. And yet, it fills me with joy to participate in something which reminds me of my own insignificance.
In his discussion of the theory of special relativity, Albert Einstein is reported to have said, long before he was able to prove it in a laboratory, it must be true. The theory of special relativity must be true because it is so simple and it is so beautiful. And he would be deeply disappointed in God if God did not recognize in the theory of special relativity a theory that grounds all motion and the physical order. It's the world in a drop of an experience, to see God in a raindrop. That's how the experience of beauty in mathematics or in a scientific formula can carry a profound human experience in a very small event.
St. Thomas Aquinas once defined humility as seeing things as they really are.
Beauty is offered to us as an invitation.
It's not a brick wall. It's not somebody's back turned to us. It feels like an invitation. It feels like a gift. It feels like a hand reached out. Come deeper in, come further in, find what's there. You won't get the full answer, but you'll feel, maybe by osmosis, maybe by some kind of indirect means, not some conceptual distillation, some bullet point description of what it's all about, but by this intuitive process of feeling caught up in a moment, caught up in an experience of significance and meaning, that there is something more to the world than we normally take for granted in our humdrum, mundane, driven, tired, busy, preoccupied way.
Beauty is an invitation, calls us forth to enter more deeply into the experience and to reflect on what we are experiencing.
You enter into the mystery through meditation, through silence, through meditative gestures like Tai Chi. So everyone comes in different ways with their different yoga, some through music in the ears, some through eyes, some through taste, some through nothing but interior growth, interiorization. So the mystery unfolds.
The prophetic text talks about after the whirlwind and after the thunder, there will be the still, small voice. And that moment of actually hearing that which has always been there, but difficult to hear because of all the other noise, that's a transcendent moment. I've transcended my own self. I'm out of my own box. I am beyond my own limitations.
Somehow in the middle of your busy life, something captures your eye, your imagination, your ear, and you stop for a moment because you want to linger in it. You'll see a tree, and something about the tree will suddenly seem so wonderful you have to look at it.